You're listening to the audio production of The Solomon Seduction by Mark Atteberry, published by Thomas Nelson, and read by E. Timothy Bass.
Introduction. In 2003, I wrote a book called The Samson Syndrome. It was based on the life of a guy who might well be wearing a pair of blue tights and a red cape if he were alive today. Samson was the closest thing to a real-life Superman the world has ever seen. And he, too, had his kryptonite, the curve of a woman's breast. It's what kept him in almost constant trouble, prevented him from fully accomplishing his God-given mission, and caused him to be humiliated at the end of his life. In this book, I'm swinging the spotlight around and shining it on Solomon, probably the only guy in the Bible who could give Samson a run for his money when it comes to embarrassing moments. But don't get the idea that they were peas in a pod. Unlike Samson, Solomon didn't bench press camels to impress the ladies. Instead, his most distinguishing muscle was between his ears. He was so wise that people came from all over the world to pick his brain. If he were alive today, he'd be writing self-help bestsellers, taking questions from the audience on his own talk show, and giving motivational speeches to corporate conventions. It seems impossible that the valedictorian of the entire human race would ruin his life by making dumb choices, but he did. In fact, I believe Solomon's demise was even more tragic than Samson's because his gift of wisdom was far more advantageous to spirituality than Samson's gift of physical strength. Solomon himself affirmed this in Proverbs chapter 24, verse 5, when he wrote, "The wise are mightier than the strong." Simply put, Solomon was better equipped to see through Satan's deceptions than any man who has ever lived, other than Jesus. But in the end, he became just as blind to them as everyone else. This, of course, is quite a tribute to Satan's cleverness. If he were an author, his blockbuster bestseller would be How I Made a Fool Out of the Wisest Man Who Ever Lived, and Why the Program Still Works. And it does still work. Pay attention to the news and you'll see that it's not just the numbskulls who fall into Satan's traps. It's also the best and brightest of America's fathers, husbands, and sons. I never cease to be amazed at how many smart guys who love God end up being shamed and humiliated by Satan's seductions. I bet you too could probably name 4 or 5 examples right off the top of your head. That's why I wrote this book. If you're a smart guy, an accomplished guy, a guy to whom people look for inspiration, leadership, and advice, I want to show you how Satan was able to...
Sample complete. Ready to continue?